Greetings subscribers, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. First things first, no, this is not a Verde Mantis Lamborghini, although I do have to tell you this color looks spot on. So I'm going to rebadge this at some point and we'll definitely film that. Meanwhile, this is my new Ryobi 40 volt lithium brushless lawnmower. And you're probably wondering, why do I have this on my channel? Well, first and foremost, did you see the grass? Before I lose another cat, I gotta get this cut. And secondly, last 10-12 years I've been using a 20-inch corded works mower that finally went belly up, so I had to go out and look for a replacement. And this Ryobi kind of ticked all the boxes. The only problem was, first, this is a Home Depot exclusive, so you can't really find much information or competitive prices online. There's really nothing on eBay or Amazon, and very little consumer videos on this too. I couldn't find like an unboxing review video, nothing about like the battery life, the power, how many like cuts you can get out of it, really nothing. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make one. So this also has a couple of other features that are really key. One is storage. So this thing boxes up and stands up on its end, which is going to help me a lot, considering I have no room in the garage now that I have the car stacker. So the other one was just in the way. And this one also has a couple things I really didn't care about. It's got headlights for cutting the lawn at night and also some kind of silent mode. But I mean, we'll run through that anyway and see what the decibel difference is, but it's not really something I would use other than maybe to kind of beat the heat. But if you stay tuned, we'll get this thing unpackaged and get it assembled and charge it up, bring it out here and give it a shot. So stay tuned. Well, there you go on the Ryobi 40 volt lithium brushless lawnmower. Not really much to the unpacking. It was really just one compartment with the batteries, and the other stuff was packed on top, and then it just folds down. So very impressed. And it's I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but this thing is incredibly light. Doesn't weigh that much, which again, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. And then storage, as you saw, these are just pins. So just do that. Folds down, locks into place, and this stands up on its own. So 20-inch cutting surface, again brushless, so I can definitely feel it. And there's how much room it takes up or doesn't take up. So that's going to really save me quite a bit in the garage. My other one does store, and you can fold the handle down. And then it has some cheesy little thing as far as hanging it from the handle when the wheels are against the wall, and so you got to have the wall space as well as the space below it. This I can now just stand up in the corner. It's not going to take up very much room at all. So let's see how it goes. And before it gets 110 out, I'm going to get this thing out there and see how it works. And here's the battery pack. And let that go for a little bit because I'm not sure how much charge it's got, but I want to at least be able to go and test everything in the backyard, give you an idea how many cuts I get, and take it from there.
So stay tuned. Well, just a quick update before I take this outside and get started on the lawn. And also, I wanted to do all this indoors in case there were any little bolts or screws or something, because I did not want to lose those in the grass. But here's the battery compartment. So it's actually kind of nice. You've got your current battery plus battery storage. So when I do get the hedge trimmer, that's going to come with another 40-volt battery. So I'll be able to actually just store that there. And then it looks like this is the little key for when the system's charged and ready to go. You just leave that in there pretty much all the time. And then very basic, just a simple mechanical lift on the front wheels for grass height. Pretty much just like any mower. This is, I was gonna say, a little on the cheesy side as far as their bag attachment, because I'm used to the Works mower, and that is a solid preformed plastic grass catcher most part. This one is just a bag that kind of clips onto this little frame, and then it just drops in onto these latches. So I guess it'll work, and it'll be easy to get any of the grass and the mulch in and out. And speaking of mulch, yes, this does have a mulch adapter, so you put that on there and it will just basically blow all the grass clippings back down onto the lawn. And there you have it. Let me get this bag on here real quick and take it from there. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours and it looks like the battery is almost fully charged, so I think that's going to be good enough to take this out and get the lawn cut before it gets any hotter out. So we'll get this thing unlocked from here. It's got a little tab, kind of hard to do it one-handed. Pull that out, get this thing loaded up. That locked into place. And since nothing's dirty, might as well give this a little bit of a test. That's crazy. I'm not sure why they put headlights on this, but okay. They're actually pretty bright LEDs, but whatever. All right, let's give it a try. See what it sounds like anyway. Not bad. The only other thing that I don't see on here is I would assume that you would have battery indicator when this thing is running. Yeah, there it goes. All right, well, good enough. Like I said, let's get this outside, see how it works. Well, all in all, not bad. I'll probably drop this down one more setting and hit everything again, but it's incredibly quiet, and I was happy to see that it does have like some kind of clutch, because when it hit the thick stuff, I actually heard it speed up. So it's got something in there as far as like I said, a clutch that can tell that the engine's bogging down. The only thing that I noticed so far that I didn't like, and maybe that's just from
habit of how I used to cut the grass with the Works mower and that fixed plastic grass catcher is I bumped this a couple times, and like one of these, you know, popped off, and so the bag kind of fell off, which not too thrilled about that. So again, might just be, you know, having to learn this new mower and, you know, what to do and what not to do. But otherwise, pretty good. And we'll check this. I'm sure it's probably gonna indicate, yeah, like that only went down one bar, so I would imagine I'd be able to cut maybe 3 or 4 times with this, or using the same battery to hit you know, this stuff with the edge clipper. But I don't think you can buy the edge clipper with no battery, so I'm gonna get a spare battery anyway, so between the two it should be fine. Hopefully it'll be, you know, good no matter how many times I need to cut the grass. Anyway, well, there you go. There's your review. So far so good. I mean, it's pretty much the same. A lawnmower is a lawnmower, especially if it's you know, corded or wireless in this case. Yeah, and I'm using that term on purpose. It was nice not having to pull the cord out and having to work around it while I'm doing my little patch of grass back here. But I'm also surprised that, man, I only had the sprinklers off for like a day and a half, and yesterday when I was going to do this, it was raining, and already this whole section is dry. So there you go. Man, that's living in the desert for you. So thanks, and you know, I'll probably do another follow-up later, especially with the edge cutters, the, you know, trimmers, and see how that is, because this usually, you know, cascades off pretty bad, and like, especially you can see on this side, you know, how much that ends up growing. So I usually take the edge trimmers and just go up underneath the edge there and cut that flush. So yeah, and I'm going to take the camera in because, man, I just grabbed the GoPro and it's about 200 degrees, so it's probably going to shut off like it did yesterday when I was working on the truck. All right, well, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, you know, all the usual stuff. Stay tuned. You never know what else I'm going to buy. Thanks. Well, so there you go. What I was just talking about just happened. I was mowing this strip again, one notch down. I got to right here and the bag fell off. So not really sure I like that design, because on my Works mower, it's basically got the same thing, like these little clips that hang right here, but it also has like this little top flap up here in this area that keeps the bag kind of you know, in place. This thing, it really doesn't have any of that. So if the bottom of the bag here gets bumped, it's going to push those little hangers off and the bag's going to fall off. So I don't know if that's a deal breaker or not. I mean, I do still have my Works mower. There's really nothing wrong with it other than the little handle, you know, was broken, so it's just always on, always off. And it's got a tail, you know, so there you go. So, you know, I'll maybe comment on this later and just, you know, see if I've kept it or if I took it back. But yeah, I gotta figure something out on that, because that's pretty irritating. Well, I just found another design problem that they have when you're trying to store this and you put this back down. One, these pins here are not chamfered or have any kind of angle to them. So I mean, unless you're really pushing them down, this little angled bracket is doing nothing. You have to pull those. And then two, this one, that one locks into place. This one does not, because your adjustment handle is in the way. You actually have to drop that all the way down, which means you got to reset this each time. And I imagine, you know, if you forget and you go and cut your lawn, and say most of your lawn is like 4 inches or 3 inches, like it needs to be out here because of the heat, you drop this down to 1.5, you're going to be pretty pissed. I mean, even though it's just temporary. It's just, that's a bad thing. If they would have had this turned this direction, running with the mower, that wouldn't have happened. So there you go. And then I'm not really sure where you're supposed to store the catch bag. So I'm gonna pull this up now to where it's supposed to be like this. And I guess you're just supposed to hang the bag on there somewhere when you store it. Of course, that's not something that they show you, you know, on the display model or in the photos. They don't mention that, of course. So, and the other thing that I thought of too, again, for maybe a design problem is, oh, you know what? I just stored this and I forgot to take the battery out, but I can't because it's now stored. So that's another thing that seems like they did not think about. I mean, this bar should be curved, and the actual grab handle should be also curved this way, so that way you can always gain access to the battery. Because what happens if you leave that stored and something happens, you know, the battery starts smoking or whatever, and you can't easily just lift this top panel out and pull the battery. So so I'm gonna post this on there on you know, Home Depot and also Ryobi, because yeah, I mean, for a company that size, I mean, I do a little bit of product design, and that's crap. I also noticed on the battery pack too, so you know, with this sitting like this, the battery locks down in and a little clip grabs it, so you have to pull it this way, which then means if you hang it like that, yes, you do have gravity on your side, but typically on some battery design, well, I don't know, I guess the writing is correct. It's just a lot of times you don't want the pins like that being exposed to water or any elements or sawdust or maybe anything else you might have in your garage that's going to drop down on that. Many times they're like this, where you would click it up and then drop it in, but as you can see, it's not how they designed it. It's upside down. But anyway, probably leave it flat someplace in the garage. So just my little nitpicky things, but it's stuff that consumers should know before they purchase. Okay, well, without looking at the manual or anything, this is what I came up with. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be, but I imagine maybe so. Not quite as less space, maybe. We'll see. I'll see what the manual says. Otherwise, you know, I really don't want to be pulling these things on and off, because like this one already doesn't really stay on there that much. And looking at the design, it's not supposed to go over this, because then it has no way of actually, you know, crimping onto there. So might have to, I don't know, maybe punch a couple holes, put some zip ties on there. So we'll see. Just again, it's what I consider poor product design. You know, just little things that were overlooked.